Do you recognize this natural disaster? And on that side, you can see some rescue operation going on. About that one on top, it's a big wave. I'm sure you all recognize that. It is tsunami. And also, there are some rescue efforts. What is that thing rising from the ground to the sky and, going round and round? It is called cyclone, sometimes storms, and you can't do anything when that comes, only you can run away. I'm sure you all are familiar with what is displayed over here. Few days ago we had heavy rains, and some of us had water around us, some of us had water inside our house. Yes, are you familiar with that lightning on top? It is looking scary, and the ground over down, it is dry and split. Have you observed any time this lightning and the famine? One is because of heavy rains, other one because of no rains. Volcano, tsunami, lightning, and storm. All these are different calamities, and there are many more, which we saw, but I have not included all of them. Storms, floods, and famine. Do you think these are natural or man-made? What do you think about it? Put your answers in the chat box. I will go through it. So students, most of those calamities that we saw are naturally occurring. Some could be because of human activities such as floods by blocking the ways of the water, or occupying the rivers could lead to flood like situation sometimes. And also excessive use of land may make it barren, and that could lead to famine sometimes. Apart from that, rest of the things are natural. They occur naturally, we can't do anything about it. Did you notice one thing? How are people behaving towards each other during the calamities or afterwards? What did you notice? Most of them are helping each other. Do you think it is necessary? Through these calamities, through these situations, we come to see that we all need to help each other in such circumstances so that we are able to face any natural disaster. Though we can't stop it, we can face them. So today we shall study the same with reference to one such natural calamity, that is earthquake, from the lesson disaster management. get released using electricity. So, dear students, all these calamities remind us that we are not the ultimate authority over nature. We have no power over it. All our technologies are limited and we can't stop them. But certainly we can help those who are affected. After the calamities, when people come together to help each one, it shows the existence of humanity. It reminds us of God's presence among us in helping each other. So students, what is an earthquake? What happens actually? Let us watch few of the animated videos and try to understand what it means. See, you see the horizontal movement here of the earth. Here you can see the difference in the horizontal plane of the earth. One part has moved up, other one is still down. You see in this video, different kinds of movement, earth movements that are possible during an earthquake. Somewhere ground comes up, in some other places ground goes down, in other places it is uh, also up and down and there is a gap in between. So do you think earthquake happens only at the surface of the earth? It affects only the surface? We saw some cracks and ground movements. Let us watch this video and try to understand. As we saw in the video, what happens as a result of these movements underneath? It produces massive energy which are called seismic or seismic waves as well as shock waves, and it has ripple effect. We will learn more about them through some images and examples. You see in this video there is an earthquake and there is a shock wave which is traveling in all the directions. While studying about earthquake, we must understand what is a focal point. What is it? It is, that area which is hitting. The two plates which are hitting each other, that particular, point of meeting is called focal point. So we saw what is a focal point. Now here we will see what is an epicenter. The place exactly above the focal point. The focal point is inside the earth, and the place exactly above it on the surface of the earth is called epicenter. And from there, the vibrations travel in all the directions. So this is an animation of what we saw, what happens at the epicenter and also in the focal point. Did you notice the waves traveling in all the directions? Dear students, does this look very scary? Now I'm going to give you another information. Earthquake happens every day. Will you believe it? According to the observations of National Earthquake Information Center, nearly every year 12,400 to 14,000 earthquakes occur on the earth. Can you believe it? Does it sound unrealistic? Not at all. Because mild earthquakes, small ones, occur all the time due to continuous movement of Earth's interior. Thus, Earth is constantly or continuously vibrating. If that is the thing, then why don't we see earthquake every day? There is a difference between mild and strong earthquake. How do we come to know then? What is mild? What is strong? How do we calculate? Is there an instrument to measure? Do you all know? If you know, then give me that answer in the chat box. Yes, those of you said seismograph, that was the right answer. There are different types. Some are vertical, some are horizontal. You see the example here. As the earth vibrates, these gives us the reading. And if the reading is within certain limit, then it is mild. If it is above certain limit, then it is severe. What is the limit? Let us have a look at it. The energy waves are measured by Richter scale. If it is between 0 to 1.9, only seismograph can record it. We can't understand it by observing the surrounding. While 2 to 2.9, the hanging objects may swing. Then 3 to 3.9, it is comparable to the vibration by of a passing truck. Then 4 to 4.9, it may break the windows. 5 to 5.9, it can move the furnitures or plasters may fall. 6 to 6.9 is quite damaging. The walls and buildings may get damaged. 7 to 7.9 is even severe, and you see the cracks on the roads and pipelines bursting. 8 to 8.9, very very dangerous. Even the big bridges can fall, tall buildings can fall. 9 is everything is over, almost total destruction. We will see one example from India. Few years ago in Gujarat, something happened. Let's have a look at these images. So students, you saw those images from Gujarat. Can you guess what must have been the reading on the Richter scale? There was large scale destruction, almost complete destruction of certain cities. What else did we see? Loss of lives, economic loss at large scale. So many companies got destroyed. People lost jobs. Ecosystem also got destroyed, loss of biodiversity, and sometimes earthquake also leads to the change in the direction of flow of rivers. If the river is flowing this way, because of earthquake it starts flowing this way. Possibilities of fire in cities due to electric wire snapping, gas explosion, all those things. If earthquake occurs at the bottom of the ocean, very dangerous. It can create tsunami waves, and level of water table also changes. We just saw the effects of earthquake, and what happens? People suffer loss of lives, property, and their loved ones. Do you think we should, get scared or sit quiet or cry about it if it happens? Not at all. We can take necessary precautions to save ourselves as well as to save others. What precautions we must take? If you feel there's a vibration of the earth, protect your head with a pillow. Or if there are furnitures around, go down and sit under the furniture. If you are near any electricity pole or tall building, better go away from that place.
In this video, you will learn how to protect yourself and how to behave properly during an earthquake. An earthquake is one or multiple series of vibrations on the ground that can cause serious damage to persons and property. During an earthquake, do not run away. Falling objects represent a danger. If you're inside, take shelter under a sturdy piece of furniture or in the corner of a wall. Stay away from windows and mirrors. Do not face them. Cover your head and neck. If you're outside, stay away from buildings and everything that could collapse. If you're driving, pull up your car at a safe distance from everything that could fall down. Stay inside your car until the earthquake is over. After the earthquake, be careful, there might be aftershocks. Listen to the radio for safety instructions. Close the water and gas inlet taps. Open windows and doors in the event of a gas leak. Leave the building. Don't use an elevator. Make your way to an open space. Eventually, head for a meeting point. Take your personal documents, warm clothes, and essential medication with you. Walk in the middle of the road and pay attention to falling objects. Don't smoke and don't light candles because of an explosion risk. Don't touch falling power lines. Don't make phone calls in order not to congest the telephone network. School children are taken care of at school. It is dangerous and not necessary to pick them up. Block access to damaged buildings. Stay away from coastal areas as there may be a risk of a tsunami. Make sure that your neighbors, especially if they're old or handicapped, do not need help. How to address the risk. Familiarize yourself with possible natural catastrophes in your country and safeguard measures. Arrange a meeting point for your family. Prioritize earthquake-resistant house constructions. Select your shelter areas. Store dangerous items properly in order to prevent them from falling. Secure devices and heavy pieces of furniture. Prepare your emergency disaster kit and first aid kit.
Have you heard about people who lost everything within few seconds? At a count of 1, 2, 3 up to 10, everything is gone. They are very rich, lost everything within few seconds. House, shops, money, all valuables are destroyed due to maybe earthquake and the subsequent fire. If we are not affected, what must we do? Of course, we must thank God for protecting us, but we must also share with those who have lost everything. We may not have plenty, but the little we have, we can share a little from that. It becomes a blessing in others' life who have become poor within few seconds. We saw that it is always better to take precaution, but we can't stop earthquake from happening. So after an earthquake happens, we are supposed to help others because they are completely dependent on our help, dear students. How many of us have seen or gone through such difficulties? How can we help those suffering from earthquake? Immediately after earthquake, after losing so many things, especially there are children like you who lose all their textbook, notebook, stationery, uniform, and sometimes their home is lost, the school building is collapsed, and how can we help them? We can share some of our resources. What can we do about it? We can donate few stationaries and study material with those children. Then another important thing that we can do is we can write to them, write a letter or a video message can be sent to schools and students affected in different areas, which will be encouraging and motivating them so that they don't give up. Apart from these two, what else can be done, dear students? You can put them in the chat box and we can discuss some of the good ideas in the end of the lesson. Then, what can you do with all this information that you got to help people? Think about it. So, students, in this lesson, we studied about earthquake and its effect, precautions to be taken during or before an earthquake, and also we saw how can we learn to journey with each other, especially those affected with earthquake. Let's see how much we have understood. See the following statements and see if they are right. If it is wrong, then correct them. Earthquake cannot occur under the sea. Do you think it's a correct statement? Reply in the chat box. Epicenter is the place from where the seismic waves originate. Is it a correct statement? Yes or no? Put them in the chat box. Let's check. During an earthquake, it is better to vacate the apartment quickly using a lift. Fire accident is an after effect of earthquake. If it is correct, put it in the chat box. If it is wrong, then say why it is wrong. Anyway, the answers are first one is not a correct statement. Earthquake can occur under the sea. Second is correct. Third is again not correct. If you are not supposed to use the lift, better to use staircase. And fourth is again a correct statement. So students, I'm going to give you an activity that is based on the understanding of all that we have studied. You are supposed to suggest precautionary measures to be taken at your home or in the apartment society where you are living. Then after that, you will identify safe spots to take shelter in case of an earthquake. For your assignment, you will prepare safety instructions during an earthquake with images, and that is to be pasted in the housing society as well as in the school premises. So make a poster. These are the references in case if you want to watch those videos again, you can go to this link.